Hey everyone, you're watching American Wire. Watch what Cammack does to this Democrat expert in front of Congress. You don't want to miss this.
Those are government officials, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and what's so interesting is that all of these members of the executive branch, all of them have communications, thousands of emails between them and Twitter and Meta officials where they demand that posts be taken down and censored. I'll give you a couple of examples, and then we'll see if you still feel so strongly about your words. January 23rd, 3 days after the inauguration, at 1:04 a.m., Clark Humphrey of the White House emails Twitter and says, "We're flagging this post for you. Hey folks, wanted to flag this tweet, wondering if we can get moving on the process to have it taken down, ... ASAP. Then, on February 7th, an email exchange took place between Twitter and White House Deputy Assistant to the President and Director of Digital Strategy, Rob Flattery, and asked for the steps that he could take to, quote, streamline the process for the White House's demands for Twitter censorship. Then 2 days later, on February 9th, 2021, he follows up again with Facebook with a more aggressive demand for more information, along with an accusation that would be repeated many times in the future, that Facebook was failing to censor speech on its platform, and it was causing, quote, political violence. Fast forward, you have March 15th, White House senior advisor then made an ominous statement threatening unspecified executive action against Facebook in retaliation for Facebook's perceived lack of cooperation with the White House's list of demands that have been documented and will be inserted into the record for this hearing on censorship of, quote, borderline content. The line that I think is particularly troubling is saying, internally, we have been considering our options on what to do about it. Do you consider that to be non-threatening?
I'm not familiar with the particular documents that you're referring to.
I just read you multiple examples.
Yes, and so I don't think that emphatic expressions of their concerns about the problem of misinformation is a threat. I don't.
So when President Biden says that social media companies are killing people, and then there is a direct line from the White House to the social media companies demanding posts be removed, going so far as to say there has to be a quick and devastating takedown, a published takedown, that is not a threat?
I don't believe so.
Wow.
I also don't believe it was a threat when President Trump made comments about social media.
I am so glad we have this on the record. Again, my apologies to you, sir, for what you've had to endure here today. But with that, I yield back.
Wow, Cammack, she came prepared to really put this guy in his place, so-called expert. I cannot believe that he could sit there and say that everything, all the communications that went to these social media companies to take down information were legitimate and were not threatening. I mean, you heard what she said. She listed out all of the evidence that was done, and how even when the White House didn't see social media taking down anything, that they even, every time they came back, it was more stern, it was more strict, it was more threatening. And this guy, right at the end, you saw, he's like, no, I don't think that is threatening. I mean, that just goes to show how much they believe that what they're doing is right. Now, here's the thing. If you're a conservative, you so get why that's wrong. Democrats cannot control speech. They cannot censor what they don't like to hear, right? If you're a Democrat, you're like, yeah, you're rooting for it. You want them to take all that information down because it's not fitting the narrative and the lies that Democrats try to push through. So when conservatives come forward and they're saying X, Y, and Z to show what the Democrats are doing is not true, right? They're putting out facts. They're putting out information for the American people to see so that they can have a bigger, wide range of information to decide for themselves what's right, what's wrong, what's true, what's not true. Why does government feel that they have to control the information that's fed out to American people? We already know why if you're conservative, because they want to control the narrative. They don't want American people to hear the truth. They want to push their lies. And if you are a conservative, you know that, you get that. If you're a Democrat, you're like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, but we do.